are considered as the best friends of students in a real sense. They play a significant role in a student's life, taking him or her into a unique world filled with knowledge and imagination. There are numerous advantages that a nation can derive when its citizens are raised with the culture of book reading. Let's look at just a few. Books make a student intelligent. They reveal the different concepts and introduce the numerous shades of culture of the world. Books improve the memory. When students read a book, they create the images of the story and character mentioned in the book, and they are able to memorize what they read. Books improve vocabulary. When students read different books on different subjects, they're able to learn new words, which will not only help them to modify their vocabulary, but also to build the awareness of various topics. Books develop analytical skills. They improve a student's ability to think and increase their capacity to find solutions to problems. Reading books can build understanding and awareness of students in different situations. Book reading is better than watching television or listening to an audiobook. The very act of physically turning a page creates a momentary pause for understanding to sink in. Our brains have to work to translate the images on a page into words and then interpret the meaning and intent of those words. When a character is described as tall with brown hair, a reader creates his or her own picture. Television takes all of that imagination away. In fact, books are indeed more reliable than the sources on the internet because they have been reviewed before publishing. The information of books stays for a long period, while you may have information on the internet changing every hour. Books have been proved to be more reliable. But there's a crucial paucity of indigenously produced tertiary level textbooks and related academic publication in the nation's tertiary education institutions. It is equally worrisome that the quality of most academic publications in our country leaves much to be desired. To combat this downward trend head-on, the Tertiary Education Trust Fund established the Book Development Fund Intervention, deliberately created with the aim of restoring the culture of research and high-quality academic publishing within the higher education subsector. TETFund's Executive Secretary, Professor Suleiman Elias Bogoro, is very passionate about the need to boost the content component of Nigeria's public tertiary institutions as part of his R&D drive.
Component. You know what, for a long time, from ETF to TETFund now, we have been referenced more in terms of provision of physical infrastructure. Yes, people are clapping wherever, well, we know it about the content. And for instance, if we talk about the content from my perspective at TETFund, for universities, polytechnic, college of education, one of the first areas of this thing is academic staff training and development. That is a key content component. And you will agree with me that whatever we did, if we had not decided to invest on postgraduate training massively as we did, when I said, I love to recall, when about 7-8 years ago, only 40% of lecturers in the Nigerian university system had PhD. But by 2015, and that is 6 years ago, isn't it? By 2015, the percentage had moved to 60%. And we're waiting for the correct indices from National Universities Commission. And we hope, we are almost confident that as we are talking now, the percentage of PhD holders in Nigerian universities has moved from, it should be in the region of 70 to 80%, or even above 80%. And that is significant because we needed a crop of faculty members that have the capacity to train others. And that is a content component. Capacity building in so many ways, but first acquisition of higher degrees, as well as continuous training, including what we are doing now, improving capacity for grant writing skills. These are all content components, but the other ones is what? Publishing of manuscripts. From conversion of PhD thesis to the larger one, which is manuscript development by lecturers. Into textbook, they are evaluated by TETFund. And many of them qualify for publication, and they are supported by TETFund. That is a content thing. And of course, journals publication. We had to identify both professional and more recently academic journals, institution-based journals to support, so as to encourage, to make sure that, because a number of journals at some point, about 9-10 years ago, we discovered that, believe me, most journals had gone moribund. It was very frustrating. People were looking for journals, and you go the journals, some of the journal offices, you went there, they had been publishing, and you discovered they didn't have, it was typewriter. You are not talking about desktop, you are talking about typewriters at that time. It was as bad as that. So we're able to make available seed money to those that we identified, the professional journals, 5 million naira each of them. And believe me, the report came fantastic. And as a result of that, a number of journals have met international best practice standards. Many of them now are being, in fact, is it about 3, 4, or 5 now that have been so scaled up at that global stage. That's the kind of thing. And then finally, research. Well, even the library development, a very important content component. But finally, research. That is the area where Dwelling will be speaking more about. And research, we have 2 categories of research grant support. We have IBR, institution-based research, with a ceiling of 2 million per grant. As small as the money may appear, a number of good research outcomes have emerged over the years. And we added the funds to it recently. Then the National Research Fund, with a ceiling of up to 50 million. And that is pretty significant, to be honest. And some of the research outcomes are very encouraging. Groundbreaking research. We've noticed it from outcomes of NRF research grant execution. And that pleases us. And we're just hoping that we will continue to improve on this. And so with research grant skills, capacity building, and change of orientation by our lecturers, we hope that we will refocus on the content components now more than ever.
It is expected that nurturing the culture of quality authorship and the production of indigenous books will not only ensure the availability of relevant books on diverse subject areas that take cognizance our local environment and sensitivities, it would also safeguard our national pride. While it's true that foreign books are helpful, an indigenous book industry is needed to provide opportunities for the nation's writers, thinkers, and artists. To facilitate effective implementation of the Higher Education Book Development Program, a technical advisory group was constituted in 2010. By August 2019, a new technical advisory group was inaugurated, saddled with the daunting task of turning things around by ensuring the harvest and publication of high-quality tertiary level texts, especially from our tertiary education institutions. The expectation of the fund is that senior academics should be able to produce exceptional quality manuscripts for the academia, as well as to serve as mentors to young and mid-career academics. They should be challenged to take advantage of the funding opportunity from TETFund for this purpose. The terms of reference of the TAG Book Publishing Subcommittee are as follows: to harvest doctorate theses and master's dissertation from across beneficiary institutions for possible conversion into books. to screen proposals on manuscripts and theses, dissertations, for development into academic textbooks and advising TETFund on fundable manuscripts, theses, and dissertations. To screen and advise TETFund on submissions from professional associations to support the production of learned journals. To recommend reviewers for screened manuscripts, theses, and dissertations for engagement by TETFund for technical assessment. To advise the fund on how to enhance and improve the production of quality academic books, journals, and other academic learning materials. To review materials for journal publication from relevant professional bodies. And to ensure the establishment and proper functioning of the academic publishing centers via the 3 subcommittees. A seed grant of 2 billion naira was provided at inception, and the sum of 2,950 million naira was added to the original seed grant, making a total sum of 4,950 million naira. On the 13th to 14th of April 2021, the TAG Subcommittee on Book Publication held a crucial meeting. On day 1, the meeting began at 9 a.m. with the chairman of the Technical Advisory Group, Professor Charles Awo, setting the tone.
So apologies from the vice chairman, like I said, he cannot be here. There's also apologies from the convener of the Academic Publishing Center Subcommittee, Professor Risku Ashewu, who called me yesterday, 2 days ago, that he will also not be able to be here. Is there additional apologies, the chairman of the convener of the Book Publication Subcommittee, and he's the chairman of this meeting.
In his address, he also recognized and commended some members of the group for key personal achievements, including gaining appointments to public service positions.
Yesterday, I got the pleasant news of the appointment of one of us again, Professor Nasir Vidama, as a special assistant to the Senate President on economic matters. So we rejoice. Again, 2 additional appointments. We know that the federal government has set up visitation panels to universities. And 2 of our members, Professor Luo Bafemi, that one I know for sure, is a member of the visitation panel to the University of Jos. He's also expected to be at this meeting. But they're having their inauguration as I speak today here in Abuja.
Following the chairman's comments, the convener, Book Publication Subcommittee, Professor John Sani Illa, delivered his welcome remarks, appreciating the TAG chairman for his unrelenting support to the committee and calling for a moment of silence in honor of committee members who had recently passed away.
TETFund and the track of their various activities and so on. So we're happy at least that we are able to meet at this particular point in time. So we are very welcome, sir. The committee always benefits actually from its wealth of experience and drive. At times I wonder, you are up by 1 a.m. and you now see an email coming from Professor O. So I used to tell my son, this man, does he sleep at all? And so on. But I think that is the level of his drive and commitment actually to this particular project. So you're most welcome, sir. I thank you very much, sir.
The subcommittee engaged in its first session of robust discussion with critical inputs, which included updates from the Secretariat, presentation of outstanding reports from assessors, and the submission of requests from authors to revise theses for conversion into books.
If you look at the agenda, we are now on Roman 3, outstanding reports from assessors. If you look at page page 17 of the file, there is a list of about 6, such reports, starting with bully, self-disclosure, and sexual incompatibility as correlates of marital instability among newly married adults in Nigeria. Analysis of errors committed in solving fraction problems by senior, and the final recommendation that there is need for major restructuring and modification in order to turn the thesis into a book that can be useful to students and teachers. This will require, inclusion of other materials as indicated in the outline structure in 4 above.
For TETFund.
When you're talking of relevance, you're not just talking of a monolithic thing, you're talking of social relevance, cultural relevance, political relevance, and so on. And even though we have not analyzed them here, the professional knows what to look for.
Outside the box of professionalism, they actually bring the relevance out. So that in such review, maybe you bring a professional, a review along with a layman in quote, another member that is not in the core of the field.
There's a great shortage of books at all levels of education in Nigeria, but the most acute being at the tertiary level due to an overwhelming dependence on imported books. These are insufficient to continually feed the content demand created by a research and development-driven economy, or sustain the existing and future centers of excellence. Because the TETFund paradigm shift is holistic, it is taking all aspects of knowledge economy into consideration. Solutions are being provided by TETFund interventions for the availability and accessibility of Nigerian textbooks for universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education. This subcommittee, in its deliberation, took a crucial look at textbooks in various subject matters, receiving feedback from coordinating editors, analyzing outstanding challenges with basic textbooks, and receiving submissions of drafts and submissions of reviews of basic textbooks.
What we have from the Secretariat, I'm happy the TAC chair himself is here, is circulated on page 14. These are the just like the TAC chair mentioned in the morning, the coordinating editors are full ahead, working based on the discussions we're having with them. Many of them have continued to work. The authors have submitted their chapters where there are problems, they seek clarifications, and so on and so forth. But for now, this is what we have received, meaning these are the coordinating editors that have submitted their texts. We have number 1, Fundamentals of Chemistry. Fundamentals of Chemistry by 3 coordinating editors, Professor Oyewole, Professor Okute, and Professor Logdeep. The authors, there are many of them, that's why you have Suleiman et al. And then TAC chair also appointed a reviewer, and that's Professor Enohgk, who is also a member of TAG, and this was dispatched on the 10th of March 2021. I think he's working on it.
Appears highly satisfied with it, and he recommends that it be developed into a book of research outcome. He said, if reviewed, that's my challenge. He has actually reviewed the work chapter by chapter, making his own comments, but he has not really suggested any areas of improvement. But he has provided a structure for the proposed book, so to speak.
Following this intervention, the subcommittee went on recess for the day with their minds firmly fixed on one objective: to achieve a successful paradigm shift that will institutionalize research and development as a catalyst for Nigeria's economic competitiveness. The homegrown textbook industry needs to be developed with a curriculum that is focused on active learning rather than repetition and memorization. On the next edition of the Paradigm Shift, we will be examining day 2 of the book publication subcommittee meeting, including a surprise visit from a very important visitor.
When last year 43 textbooks were approved, I was the most excited person at the board of trustee meeting. And I told them, I said, as a university lecturer, I know what it means. TAG decided to prioritize the basic textbooks for obvious reasons. Let's establish standards of the benchmark and then move up thereafter. We believe we'll move into specialist, postgraduate, deeper categories subsequently. But let's identify the key areas where we need the basic textbooks. It was fantastic, commendable thing that you people did. And at the Board of Trustees, when I finished explaining, believe me, there was sustained ovation and appreciation for all of you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
The importance of books in the social, economic, and technological advancement of a developing country such as Nigeria cannot be overemphasized. Presently, Nigerian education at all levels urgently needs book resources to ensure that the effectiveness of the whole educational system is greatly enhanced. TETFund is playing a crucial part at center stage in expanding and developing the nation's literary canon. This will form the basis for research content into products and services that will serve our industries very well. Industries can then scale up these products in ways that will be beneficial to the larger society. Increased quality of life for Nigerians means increased profitability for industry, which in turn means increased tax base for the government. New publications will continue to be supported by TETFund. Nigerian textbooks can then be repurposed and distributed as multimedia content, with the government, through TETFund, taking an active role in the construction and refurbishment of new and existing libraries, respectively. And that is the paradigm shift.